Ooh, that might be a little close, yeah? Maybe? Let's see. Hello. Hello. Let's give us a minute or two. Well, not a minute or two. I'm just waiting for the YouTubes to catch up with me. So hello. Hello, hello, hello. Come on, YouTube. Come on. Come on already. We're tired of waiting. We are tired of waiting, aren't we? It's coming. It's coming. It just takes a second for me to catch up. There we go. Now a little ads coming on, and then I'll be able to see you guys in 1 second. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Wednesday night. All right. There we go. Ooh, what do I got going on here? Hi, friends. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So fun to have you here with me tonight for a really kind of a departure from what we normally do here on my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Lael Kankar. I have a business called Lael by Mail. When I'm not traveling, we're usually here on my YouTube channel on Saturday mornings doing what I like to call creative listing. But we're not doing that tonight. And we won't be doing that for the next couple of weeks because I'm getting on the road. Nick, my husband, and I are headed out this weekend for a 14-ish day trip in our RV. The plan is to hit 4 national parks on the trip, and I'm going to take you guys with me along for the adventure. I'm going to do that in a little bit of a different way. I won't be like, walking you around a national park or anything with my phone. What I will be doing is a 3-part series called Travel With Me, and tonight is the very first part of the series. Tonight, I will be sharing with you what I'm taking with me, and I don't mean clothes and things like that. I mean the supplies I'm taking with me to document on the road. This is one of the biggest questions I get when I talk to people about travel and the travel documenting, travel journaling, doing things in my traveler's notebooks on the road. Is what do you take? Like, what do you take? How do you know what to take? How do you limit what you take? So we'll be talking about that tonight. I will show you kind of my top five. If you are going bare bones, the things that I would not leave home without, kind of like back in the day, your American Express, the commercial, right? Don't leave home without it. But I'll be showing you the 5 things that I would absolutely 100% take with me and I would not leave behind. And then I will show you some additional things that I will be taking. But don't worry, we don't have like a 100-foot RV. We have a very small RV. And my goal is not to spend all of my time on the trip documenting the trip. My goal on the trip is to enjoy the trip, but also every night do a little bit of documenting so that I remember all the things. And then when I get home, whenever I am ready to document the trip, it could be a week later, it could be a year later, a month later, 2 years later, 10 years later, you guys know, right? Life gets in the way. But that I have all the details so that when I am ready to sit down and document, I'll be ready to do it. So tonight is part 1. We'll look at that. Oh! Honey, please don't let the cat in.
What?
Please don't let the cat in. Sorry, guys.
What are you?
We have a little. What?
What are you doing?
Honey. Nick. He's shaking his head at me. Excuse me, I'm live, dear.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me the cat.
I'll give you the cat. You guys, sorry, guys.
Hope there's not a fire.
Well, I'll go that way.
Okay.
There's not a fire. Me too. Well, we'll see how you guys. Sorry, you're getting like the outtakes and the bloopers like live. It's like leave it. You can leave it open, honey. If we have to get rid of the cat, we'll get rid of the cat. Anyhow, yes. Hello, Nick. He was a little perturbed there. He's well, long story, but yes, he's just a little perturbed. He's painting right now, and he's not really happy about having to paint the ceiling. We'll get into that story another day. Anyhow.
I wasn't letting the cat in. I had to open the door so I could do what I...
Okay. All right. It's all good. Don't worry. Anyhow, gosh, I don't even know where I was. Where was I? Anyhow, so tonight we are, and we'll look at the supplies that I'm taking with me, the bare minimum. We will also be, I've started to prep my traveler's notebooks before I go, and that is key. That's a key part of the process, which I've done a little bit of that. I'll be doing some of that live. And then we'll talk about the next 2 series. Okay, so that's the plan. There is a link in the description box of the video. There are a couple links in the description box of the video. One of the links is basically the things that I will be using tonight as I start to prep my traveler's notebook, or as I continue prepping my traveler's notebook before I leave. So you'll see that in the description box of the video. You will also see at some point here, I'm not sure if she's here or not, I'm looking at the chat, You will see at some point here, Amy, my right hand, popping into the chat, and as I am using things, she will be linking them. So most of what you're going to see me use are things on my website because, well, some of the things that I manufacture, but other things that other people manufacture. So anyhow, that is our plan for this evening. I have no clue how long it'll be, no clue. So if you're here to hang out live, welcome to you. Nice to have you here. If you're watching the replay, welcome. Also nice to have you here. If you're live, there's a live chat that takes place. If you want to pop into the chat and say hello, I would love to know that you're here. And while we're doing that, if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, that's super helpful. I would love that. So let me take a quick look at the chat. We'll see who's here, and then we will dive right in. Okay, that's fun. That is the plan. So hello, Dandy Creates, CT Grammy. The other thing I should mention, you guys, if you are not much of a traveler, that doesn't mean you might not gain a little nugget or two of wisdom. I might share a product. I might talk to you about something that I do. I might talk to you about an experience or something like that. So maybe just hang out and, have some company. CT Grammy, hello from Connecticut. Ms. L, hello. Dandy said, happy Canada Day to her fellow Canadians. Happy Canada Day, friends. Jen's Happy Place is here from Steaming Hot Chicago. Paula and Shane, hello. Shelley Walton from Hot Atlanta, right? Don Johnson, Don Garrison from Steamy Hot Southeast Michigan. Hi, Jolene. Jolene, Dolly's best friend. I always know that's you when you say that. Thank you. Welcome. Hello, Joyce, Wanda, Mary C. Plans from Georgia, Marshall Blount from Cincinnati, Julie from Florida, Charlene from Nebraska. It seems like it's hot in a lot of parts of the U.S. right now, right? Hello, Tammy Anderson. You guys stay cool. Carol K from Canada. Nice to see you, Carol. She's looking forward to this Prep With Me Live instead of our List With Me Live. We're doing a Prep With Me Live. Tracy's Footprints. She says it's consensus with how hot it is. 102 in Pittsburgh. Oh my goodness. So, I don't have my Apple Watch on. I think we're low 80s today. Earlier this week, we were like in the 40s, which is crazy. And I'm talking Fahrenheit. Obviously when we talk about the 80s, but I don't know, probably 40s too. But we had really cool weather over the weekend and early this week. So it was kind of a nice little reprieve because we've been in the high 90s before that here in Utah. Marcia said this is perfect timing because she is traveling next week. Perfect. Hello, Colleen. Nice to see you from Toronto. Also wishing friends happy Canada Day. Tammy Anderson, Pam Soames. Hello, Sam. Pam, Sam. Marcia, your dog sitting, so your son and daughter-in-law head to Park City. That'll be right in my backyard. That's why I grew up. Hello, Amy. Thank you for joining us, Amy. Lori Land, Pam from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Hello, Mari. Nice to see you. My fave 001 is excited for the travel trio. And hello, Louisa, saying hello from sunny Southern California. Wendy McTurk is very excited. Hello, TK from Hot Michigan. Deborah said, Lael, I want to know everything in all uppercase about your trip. I finally returned on June 1st. Deborah, you are like just a couple of days, well, a month in. But congratulations, that's so exciting. Yes, I will share lots about the trip when we get back. And along the way, because there's 2 more videos that I'll be doing live from our RV while we were on the road. So let's see. So she said she and Jay are taking a 3-week road trip to the Sierra Nevadas in October. Oh, that sounds amazing. That'll be fantastic. Painting ceilings, not fun. I agree. Loves my Griffin Moore. Hello, nice to see you. The trip will be fun. Yes. Is the National Park stamp set new? TK, it is. Yes. You guys will see if you didn't see it on Friday. I just very quietly put it on the website. But there's a brand new stamp set. It is in between releases. We usually do releases the 15th of the month, but this one we released early because of this and because I need it for the trip. So you'll learn all about that National Park stamp. Very, very observant, TK. TK. Colleen, morning at 10ish. The humidity and temperature was 113. In Toronto, that's a beast. That is a beast. I don't know how you guys deal with humidity here in Utah. We're very dry, very, very, very dry to our detriment because of the fires. But we're very high mountain desert, almost zero humidity. Virginia, she just finished the e-course and she loved it. I'm using it Document and Alaska Cruise. So we'll talk very briefly about the e-course as as things get underway. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I love that. Hello, Becky. Hula Girl, hello. Belinda Keller, she's here from Louisiana. Mary J. Blige, hello. Hi, Lindsay Stout. Hello, my friend. I love to see you here. I love that. Thank you for joining. Hello, Mimi. Dawn just got back from a week in Michigan and 3 national park visits. Oh, I love that. You guys just have to know this about me. I'm a huge national park geek. A huge. I I guess Nick thought getting out a power tool would be a good idea right now. Apologies. Hopefully he's done soon. You guys saw me. Uh, anyhow, just real life. That's what it is, real life. Yes, so it is on my bucket list, really our bucket list, Nick, my husband, and I. It's on our bucket list to hit all 63 national parks in the U.S. before we kick the bucket. And after this trip, we'll have 22. So we're well on our way. Good start. Very good start. Don, which ones did you go to? Hello, Sandy's. Hello, Virginia. Kelly Dugan. Carrie Meredith loves the National Park set. Thank you, thank you. Hello, Jesse from Alaska. All right, I think we're just about ready. I think I'm almost to the end. We're just about ready to dive right in. 56 in Alaska for Jesse. Oh, you've got a lot of jealous people here of your temperatures, right? Overcast, but nothing will stop your fireworks on Saturday. Mimi, cloudy in central coastal California. All right, my friends, I think I've got everybody. And Mary J just got back from Hawaii a week and a half ago. She needs to finish up her traveler's notebook. Dawn, Cuyahoga, Sleeping Bear, and Indiana Dunes. Sleeping Bear Dunes and Indiana Dunes. I need to look those up because other than Shenandoah National Park, which we hit up last weekend, 2 weekends ago, Nick was on a business trip to Washington, D.C., and I decided to head out with him, and we did Shenandoah National Park. Other than that, the furthest east, honey, national park that we have done is Colorado. So it's kind of fun to make our way out east a little bit. Hello, Debbie. All right, friends, so here's the plan. Like I said, I am going to rotate the camera here. Well, let me talk a little bit first. I'll talk a little bit first. Travel has always been a huge part of my life, like I would say integral part of my life. My dad was in the Navy when I was young, up until 4th grade, and I got my first passport when I was 4. My dad and we, by way of my father, were stationed in Japan for 3 years. So that is really kind of what probably started my love for travel. Lived there for 3 years when I was 4, 5, and 6. I remember a little bit about it. I remember how to say, thank you very much for dinner. And I was able to use that, that one phrase I remembered on my trip to Japan when I was there in March. But it's always been a big part of my life. As I was growing up, and then as I kind of started taking on a career, it's always been a part of my career, the different jobs that I have had, especially as I moved into the paper crafting world and started traveling all over the world teaching. But it's also always been an important part of my life in my personal life. Nick and I both just love to travel, and it's a very important thing to us. So we really work hard, and we've saved hard to make sure that we can schedule travel in because, we both really, really love it. And it's nice for us to be able to do together, but also do separate. We are one of the people during the early days of the pandemic that decided maybe it was a good idea to buy an RV. And we had never had an RV before. When we were much younger, kind of newlyweds-ish, we went in with Nick's brother and his wife on a little one of those pop-up little camper things. Didn't really use that much, but just decided during the pandemic that we should get an RV. And so we did. And we have loved every minute of it. And so some of our travels are via airplane, but a lot of our travels are also via RV. Kind of the defining moment in how I was documenting my travels really changed was in 2023. Prior to that, I had been documenting my travels probably for about 15 years in one way or the other. But in 2023, we went on a trip that required that I really change my paradigm and how I document a trip. We were gone for 18 days. We did Amsterdam for 2, Ireland for a week, and Scotland for a week. And into that trip, we each took a carry-on and a backpack. And I will tell you that it will be the one and only time in my life I ever do that. It was perfect for that trip because we were in 3 different countries, and I think we only had 3 different nights where we stayed in a hotel more than once. So we were totally on the go, and because we were going to be on the go, we knew that we wanted to just travel light. carry-on and backpack. And so when I was thinking about, well, I know I want to be able to document the trip while I am on the trip, because that way I'll remember things and I want to do that, but I'm like, I can't. I mean, I can't take everything, right? I can't even take a few things. It's, do I take shoes or underwear or my traveler's notebooks? And sometimes, that's a hard one, right? But on that trip, I took literally 3 things. I took a pouch, was smaller than that. I took actually, I'll show you. I took a pouch. I took this single traveler's notebook insert, and I took a pen. That is all I took, those 3 things, because I didn't have a lot of room. That was such a game changer for me when it came to documenting my travels, because I didn't have to worry before we went on, oh my gosh, which die cuts should I take? Which sticker should I take? Which stamp should I take? Which washi should I take? Should I bring a photo printer? I should bring a photo printer because I want to document everything while I'm on the trip. But then wait a minute, if I'm documenting while I'm on the trip, how do I know how many pages to leave for this one or that one or this city or that city? Which in a lot of cases makes us not end up documenting when we're on the trip, because it is like paralyzing. I don't know what to take. I don't know how much to take, what photos, and then I didn't get it all documented the first day. How many pages do I need the first day? And we just give up. The other reason that we give up is because we're tired at the end of the day when we're traveling, right? Sometimes we pack so many things into a day that at the end of the day, the last thing we want to do is get out all of our fun supplies and spend an hour or 2 documenting. So on this trip, I didn't have the choice. And because I didn't have the choice, that really just changed things for me. And that is the way that I travel now when I am wanting to document on the go. Now, I take a couple more things, but really, when I show you, I think you'll see that pretty much in something like this, that's all you need. So that's the plan. That's kind of how it all started, and I've continued doing that ever since, and it's been super successful for me. So somewhere along the way, I ended up creating a document your travels, traveler's notebook insert based on what I did here, because a lot of you asked for something similar to what I did here that you didn't have to do on your own. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. And then since then, well, just all kinds of things that help me to document the trip before I leave. I think with that said, let me take a quick look at the chat, make sure there aren't any questions, and then I'll rotate the camera, and then I'll dive in. I'll show you kind of what started here on that 18-day trip where I only took a carry-on and a backpack, and now what has kind of morphed a little bit. I will show you what I am planning on taking on this trip, and then we'll dive right in and do some prep work, because prep work is the game changer. All right, sound like a plan? Okay, let me just check. And I know Amy's here, so Amy will help to answer any questions if there are any questions. I could see some things coming through, but sometimes when I get in my little thing like that, it's hard for me to segue. Yes, I have Muir Woods. I did that years ago when I worked for AT&T. Our voicemail vendor back then was in somewhere near Muir Woods. I don't remember where it was. Anyhow, but yes, amazing. Beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. There's so many parts of our country that are just amazing. Hello, Melissa. Nice to see you. Let's see. Melissa and her husband do heading to all the baseball parks. And that's another one, right? I was teaching at an event last November. And I'm trying to remember who it was now. I even took pictures. Even asked her if I could take pictures. I know. Jenny. She is doing the same thing. Going to all of it's on her bucket list to go to all the baseball parks. So in a traveler's notebook she had with her, she was showing me she'd been doing a spread for every baseball park and every baseball game. And it was so cool because it's just another way to document your travels, but in a little bit of a different format. All right. Melissa said it's really difficult to not want to take everything in kitchen sink with you. It is paralyzing, and that's what we got to get over that. We can't. I mean, I don't know, unless you're taking your whole house with you or your whole craft room with you, or I don't know, maybe 8 suitcases with you, it is impossible to do. And I'm the kind of person, I get you, I'm the kind of person that's like, oh, but wait, what if I want that? Or what if I want that? And you know what happens? You get somewhere and you're like, if I only had that. You could have brought 8 suitcases full and left 3 things behind, and you'd be like, you know what? I needed that second thing. I brought everything, and that's what I needed. So we got to get over trying to bring it all because we can't. I mean, even if we did, we wouldn't use it on the trip because there's too many choices, and we're tired. You always take too much. Maggie said she always takes too much. So I'm going to show you how I think you might be able to take a lot less and make it work. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and rotate the camera, and we will look at what started it all. Back to the beginning. All right, let me plug in. Okay, so going back to that trip to Ireland, Scotland, Amsterdam. Again, because I knew I did not have a lot of room, I took my plain old lined traveler's notebook insert and I prepped it ahead of time. I ended up creating an e-course that you will see on my website at layoutbymail.com. Amy will drop that into the chat for us. But it is also linked on the kind of what I'm showing, what I'm using tonight. But I ended up creating an e-course based on like all of this whole process and how I documented and how I took photos and a whole bunch of tips and tricks. Because I did that e-course, I had to recreate this little traveler's notebook. So before I left, I sat down and I wrote out our itinerary. And then I created this little template. And I hand drew it on every page for every day. So I had space here for day one, where what city or country we were in, where we were staying, the weather, miles driven. And then I just added a little bit of kind of little stamping, right? Super plain. Here, I also on every page did a top 3. So at the end of the day, I could sit down and go, okay, these are all the things that happened. And really, this is just the facts, right? All the things that happened, everything that we did, but not a lot of decorating beyond that. And then at the end of the day, top 3. And I did that for every single day on our trip. All right. So that is the before. This is the after. That is that exact same page, but it is filled out. I did that every day at the end of the day. And because the only thing I was worried about was capturing all the details, it wasn't taking me 3 hours. I wasn't trying to decide what photos I like, print them out, try to get my Wi-Fi in the hotel to hook up to my printer, all the things that can be frustrating when we travel. It was just this, right? Now, that very first day when we were in Amsterdam, we went to the Van Gogh Museum. And we were in the museum, I found this little thing of colored pencils. This is not the colored pencil that I bought, but it certainly could have been. I picked these up later. But I found a little thing of colored pencils. Remember, I didn't have a lot of room, but I'm like, I'm kind of a creative person, and without some color, it was kind of boring. So, little thing of colored pencils with a little pencil sharpener in there. That then let me add a little bit of color. There was a little piece of tape that was adhered to one of the bags from a little shop that I bought, but super simple, right? Sitting down every day and doing that every night for about 15 minutes, that was how I could document that entire trip while I was on the trip. And I wasn't worried about making it look cute, although clearly I did, because then I'm trying to find stickers. And let me tell you, if you go to Europe expecting you're going to find stickers, forget it. They don't have them. Now, each day we did a lot. We did a heck of a lot every day. So what I did on my phone, I had a note on my phone and I've just copied it into a Word document and printed out just so you could see. But every day, Amsterdam day 1, what was the temperature? What did we do? Where did we go? What did we eat? Day 2, same thing. And I did this every single day so that at the end of a day, we had done so much. I'm not like, okay, what did we do, Nick? What did we do? What struck my fancy? What did I eat? Whatever. So that I could reference the note on my phone and then come in and write it all down. So this now is probably one of my prized possessions. That sounds silly, but this is the play-by-play of that entire trip. And whether you document in a traveler's notebook, whether you are a 12 by 12 scrapbooker, whether you work in a mini book, whatever format that you work in, I can guarantee you, you are not capturing all this level of detail when you're documenting your trip, right? But it's all this level of detail which really makes that trip pop. And it's all that level of detail a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, all this level of detail that reminds you, and you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, I forgot we went to the Temple Bar, and I forgot we did this, and I forgot there was that Oscar Wilde statue right outside of our hotel. So just capturing the details, the facts every day. And it's a commitment to do this every night, right? Because some nights you're tired, but if you are just spending 15 or 20 minutes and sitting down, because you've already done all this work, right? You're not having to take your stamps with you. You're not having to take anything fancy with you. You've already filled out all of the information so that really it's just the facts. Now, you can add some fun things, right? That is from my luggage tag. I was able in a couple places to find some stickers, and wherever I could find some stickers, I would throw them in, right? I did plug in. Thank you. Thank you, Colleen. But in a lot of cases, I couldn't find stickers because they really don't have them in Europe. So that's where my little colored pencils came into play. That is the entire trip. All right. And actually, there are two of these inserts, right? Because actually, no, one of these inserts. But I did the entire trip. Now, some days, if I was too tired at night, maybe I didn't do it that night. But the next day, if we were driving or in an airplane or on a train or on a boat, whatever it was, I would commit to myself, I am going to get this done. What was really cool, at some point, maybe halfway through the trip, Nick picked this up and he's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot all those details from just a couple of days ago because we were doing so much on the trip that it was hard to remember all of those details. So that's what this is, right? And it is the entire trip. I put our itinerary in the back. I also did some things at the end of the trip. I totaled up how many steps we walked. 250,000 on the trip over those days. How many miles that was? 111 miles, by the way. How many miles we drove, how many miles we flew. My top 5, Nick's top 5. So these were all the notes that I kept on my phone every day. I even did some things at the end. Like I was, because I'm a list maker, love to make my lists. I was counting, here. How many roundabouts? 204. How many castles? How many museums? How many beaches, pubs, hotels, national parks, lighthouses, shipwrecks? 1 shipwreck. But keeping track of those things along the way on my phone every day, I just kind of update those numbers. So it made it really easy for me to then take this. And then when I was ready to document the trip, turn it into this. All right. So this is my super chunky traveler's notebook. Where I divided it into 3 different sections. I told a little bit of the story before. 2020 was our 25th wedding anniversary, May of 2020, which this trip was planned for May of 2020. And, it didn't happen then because of the pandemic. So told the story a little bit over here, talked a little bit about our anniversary, and then divided it into 3 sections. The Netherlands, so Amsterdam. I kind of came up with a format for every day. I did a shot out the window. We were flying from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. Did a large photo, did a recap of what we did, a recap of our favorites from that city, added some photos using a digital template from Carrie Bradford, more photos, and then did at least 1 junk journal spread of all of the, or a lot of the, brochures and things that I cut out of magazines and things like that from the trip. And then 2 spreads. All right. Then we move into the next country, Ireland, and then same thing. And then we move into the next country, Scotland. And in some cases, even taking the entire, is this one have it? Maybe that one doesn't have it. Taking an entire brochure somewhere in here. I think this is it. Hang on. Nope, that's not it. Somewhere in here, I have an entire brochure that I glued in and then it opens. Doesn't matter. Pockets for keeping all of like tickets and different things like that because it's part of the memorabilia, part of what it's fun to take with me, right? All right, or to collect. So that is hotel room keys, receipts, train tickets, things like that. So that is one of the ways that I documented that trip. Now, I've documented it in a couple of other ways as well, but that's kind of the primary way that I did that. All right. So since then, let's talk about what's happened since then. Since then, I have continued that same process. Every time I take a traveler's notebook insert with me, and it has already been prepped. I prep it before we go. We went to New York City in December. Still have some work I can do here, right? But then I had it all prepped, ready to go, where we were staying, how long, our flights, our top 3 as each day happened, flight information, taking part of the luggage tag. But I did that every single day. Now, what has changed a little bit about that process is I still don't really take anything more with me, but where I can find stickers, I add stickers because the stickers from the areas give it a little bit more of a local flair, right? As opposed to, just using stamps that I have in my stash. So New York, same way. Did the same thing for Oregon last year. We went to the Oregon coast to celebrate our anniversary. Different things that we wanted to do along the way, and then all our days, right? More stickers. But you can see, I pretty much the same exact format that I started doing back in 2023, maybe with a few more stickers, but same thing. Prepping ahead of time while I'm gone, as I every night do all of my kind of journaling or just the facts, and then just doing some highlighting with my colored pencils so that when I look at something, it's really easy to kind of pull out the different things. All right, so that was Oregon. Then we have South Africa. I did the same thing in South Africa last year. So again, a little bit harder in some places to find some of your stickers and things, but really just having all of that information together makes it really easy when you come home to then document when you're ready to document. Now, that's part of it, right? The words are part of it, but it's also the collecting of the things that is part of it for me. For every trip, I have one of my little 9.5 by 12 craft storage pouches, and all the memorabilia I collect from the trip goes in there. And these things, if I am doing a traveler's notebook insert for the trip, I don't do them for all of our trips, but upstairs I would have one of these for New York, and it's all of my memorabilia from New York, that trip. So then I would do this. I would put that in there, and anytime I am ready to work on that, it is all together in like a little kit for me, right? Makes it so easy. If I'm going on a crop, maybe I'm going in Harvey the RV and I want to do a little bit of work while I'm on the road. Guess what? I just grab that pouch because I know it's got everything in it from that trip, and off I go. Now, for the most part, everything I'm collecting. Oh, you guys hear that? Smoke alarm. Remember when Nick said, I hope there's not a fire? Hopefully he will turn that off very quickly. Apologies. Yeah, there's no fire. Okay. Oh, right. Dinner time. I know. Maybe he's cooking something. Well, anyhow. So for the most part, I can't. Oh, Nick. All right. Let me do this, friends. Let me just do this really quickly. Oh, he got it. Nick is also. Oh gosh. Hold on. Nick, let me put this right here. Just know I will be right back. I am still here. I will be right back. Nick might not be in the house anymore. If he's not in the house, then just hang tight, okay? Oh, yeah, hang on. Please hold. Please hold. I will be right back. I will be right back. Dinner's cooking dinner. He's making fish tacos, and apparently there's a little smoke. So, I mean, it's just enough smoke to, trigger the smoke detector. So, hopefully hopefully that's not too annoying, and hopefully he clears the air out of the house. All the windows are open up there. All the doors are open. Anyhow, yeah, dinner. I guess dinner. But did you guys hear earlier when he said, because there's a lot on one side of the room, and he said, I hope there's not a fire, meaning I wouldn't be able to get out. I almost wouldn't put it past my husband. No, he really wouldn't. But I'm like, oh, there we go. Okay. So anyhow, the pouches are amazing. There are 5 different sizes. I said before we were so rudely interrupted by the smoke alarm that most of my trips fit in one of these. There is one trip that did not, and that was the trip to Japan that I came back from, or that I took in March. That is, I have multiple pouches, and I think I used the 13.5 by 13 pouches because there's just a lot more that I collected on that trip. But I tell you, here it is again, right? I'm doing this for every trip. So this was a longer trip, so I have 2 inserts planned out. I still need to fill out some of these things from the itinerary, but all of I got rerouted to Detroit. Our little luggage, the little 3-digit airport code, and then same thing every night. I sat down and documented. You can find a few more cute stickers in Japan than you can in the UK. Also pulled brochures, so different brochures that I had collected along the way and cut them up, right? So we've talked about what I've taken with me so far. I've taken something to write with, Sharpie, and then my little colored pencils, something to write on, my traveler's notebook insert, right? So this is what we're gonna work on a little bit tonight. One of those, and then pair of scissors, right? Pair of scissors, because I want to be able to cut up brochures and things. Even though this is all just the facts, it's still part of your memory keeping for the trip. So that's probably the biggest change. It's minimal, but the biggest change that I've made since that first trip to Europe, where I'm just adding a few more kind of fun things inside. Washi tape from the Traveler's Factory. So having scissors so I can cut things up. And if I'm cutting things up, I need to be able to glue them, right? I need to be able to glue them. So also taking a little glue stick, right? Portable, super small. And that is, we talk about the minimal things. If you are going with a suitcase and a carry-on, your minimal things, my minimal things are these. Pen, scissors, colored pencils, glue stick, my document your travels, traveler's notebook insert, and then one of those pouches. So 5 things, because I'm saying those are the same thing. Those are both writing utensils, all right? That's it. That's all you have to take. And you can, especially if you've got these with you and you're collecting all of these types of fun things, stickers and brochures and things, you can make a very fun but still factual documentation of your trip.
Sorry.
What? Yeah.
Is it going off still?
No.
Okay.
No. You can't hear it anymore. So Nick also has hearing aids.
I didn't realize I had the fan on. I didn't realize it was going up. I heard it saying fire. Fire.
Yeah, I didn't think you could hear it. And then our I don't know, it's our alarm system or whatever. It will start telling you there's a fire and it says fire, fire, fire. And it's quite, we couldn't hear that part downstairs. Anyhow, so those are the 5 things. And that is how I don't take everything but the kitchen sink. I do prep work ahead of time. And then while I'm on the trip, cut some things up, add them with the glue stick, do a little bit of colored pencil, and it's good, right? So I will tell you, even if you think there's nothing to document on a day, I promise you there is. This was this day for me, March 22nd, when I was in Japan. I was sicker than a dog. I had the flu. I don't know what I had. Fever, chills, and the entire day I stayed in my hotel room. But the next day I'm like, well, I still want to document. This is part of the trip. So I documented some of the medicine I was taking. Vicky Booten was on the trip with us, had gone and to one of the local like 7-Elevens and grabbed me fruit drink, some cup of noodles. This is like Gatorade. And so I incorporate a little bit of junk journaling in there, right? I mean, you can see that is part of the cup of noodle soup, cup of noodle cup. But even when you think there's not a lot to document, you can always find things to document. All right, so that is that trip. This is another thing that you see me do. And you see me do this more probably on what I share on Instagram is a little bit of junk journaling from the trip where I am just doing pages where I have just like basically taken labels, price stickers and things like that, because those are also part of the trip. There are things that I remember, like, oh my gosh, the 18 times we went to the Onitsuka Tiger shoe store, or the frozen grape balls that you can buy at the 7-Eleven. So things like that also help to trigger your memory. Okay, so that's what I do. That is what I do in a nutshell. So let me show you what I am taking on this particular trip that we're going on. Besides these things, right? Besides my pen, my scissors, my traveler's notebook inserts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and then the pouch, right? Craft storage pouch. So, I have put everything I'm taking, and I'm not kidding you. When I say everything I'm taking, well, okay, actually it's a lie. I have to take my camera stand to film from too. But I have fit everything in this little bag, all right? This bag is by a company called Soola, Soola. I am carrying these on my website. So this bag holds a lot of stuff, you guys. And it's like they designed it for traveler's notebooks. I know they didn't, but look at one end. One end holds my traveler's notebook. You have pockets here. You have pockets over here. Over here is where I had put my inserts. Inserts fit there. You've got more pockets here. In the front, you have all of these pockets for all these little writing utensils, scissors, whatever it is. This nice little handle makes it so you can carry it. Now, if I was on a trip, because I'm going in my RV, this is easy for me to take. If I was going in a suitcase, I probably wouldn't take this bag. What I would take is something that I have in the bag. Let's actually take a look at these first. I am taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these pouches. The reason I'm taking 5 of these pouches is because we are going to 4 national parks. And I know this is what will happen. This is what happened when we went to Mesa Verde National Park. I've got stickers, I've got the park brochure. I pick up all kinds of things like this from the stands, the little tourist stands, because you never know when you might want a title for Colorado that I could cut out, or you might want, maybe you're going to wherever the city is, you could cut that out. So these brochures are great for cutting up and adding to your traveler's notebook, because we're not really adding a lot of embellishments right now. We're just getting a little bit of decorating in, so it feels like we're crafting along the way. You've got a great map. A lot of your brochures have a map. Those are fun things to include as well. So I will have one of those for each of the national parks that we go to, because you know what? You put me in a national park visitor center, and I am like a kid in a candy store, right? Well, you can see. All the postcards, the stickers. I do go a little bit overboard, but it's for my business, right? It's for my business. That's what I tell myself. Anyhow, even these guys, right? Your little national park stamps that you stamp when you're in the visitor center. So I'll have one of those for each of the national parks. If I was going on a trip, like when we went to New York, I would just carry one of these, because I wouldn't need to have a separate pouch. But I know me, and I know me in a national park visitor center, and I have zero restraint. So I like to buy a lot of things. I'm taking 5, I said, because 1 I will have just for miscellaneous memorabilia that I collect along the way when we're in different cities. Okay, so I've got those, and those fit nice. Oh, I gotta just show you guys this. I noticed this. I didn't notice this when I bought them, but look do you see right there? Do you see how it says "You Do You" in the bottom? If you know me, you know I say you do you all the time. And that was just like so fitting. So these little guys go right in there. Now, because these are taller than the bag, I can't close it, but that'll be perfect. Another thing that goes in there, at least for me, is this. That is small pouch. Okay, we've got kind of the bag here, and then we have the small pouch. This fits inside that larger bag, and I use this because this is kind of all of my tools and supplies. Now, we talked about this, where I'm taking pen, colored pencil, glue. I have some other things because I have room to take some other things. I also have some other things because I will be doing 2 lives while I'm there. So I probably want to have a few more things with me. I've got a pair of tweezers. I have some fussy cutting scissors. I'm not taking these scissors. Now, when you travel, TSA, it is absolutely okay to have scissors like this. They will, if you're in there, if they're in your carry-on, it is fine. What you can't take are your really long bladed scissors. Always a good idea to double check if you're going to a different country because different countries have different rules, but small scissors like that totally work. I'm taking these. Those are little pen scissors. So very small, compact little pen scissors that just like a little pen, they're going in there. Got my little mechanical pencil, my handy dandy Sharpie, which I will probably end up taking 2 with me. I also have a photo signature pen because if I want to write on any of the glossy surfaces, not services, if I want to write on any of the glossy surfaces, oh, thank you, hydration break. I should have taken a hydration break. Thank you, Colleen. Should have taken a hydration break when we had the smoke alarm, when we had the fire, right? When we had the fire. Mimi. Amy, are you here still? Amy, if you're here, will you put a link? Will put 2 links for me? Yes, I have a link because I have them on my website. Both the pouch and the little bag. Just checking to see. Oh yes, Amy, thank you. Will you do 2 links in the chat? And these are also the link to everything is in the description box of the video. But if you will put a link to the page on the website, the national parks, the things I'm using for this kind of national park thing, and then also a link to the Sula pouches, Soolla. That is the name of these, and I have both of these in that navy and white, and then I also have a smaller this size and a solid black and also a solid light pink. Also, I've learned it is handy dandy to also take a glue pen when I am cutting things out of brochures. Having a glue pen makes it a lot easier sometimes than trying to use a glue stick. So I have more room on this trip, so I have a little glue pen and then I have my little ruler. I have a couple of different clips with me. Sometimes if I'm working, I need to be able to clip my pages open. All right, so that is what's in the outside pocket. You also have little pockets on the back side. I brought in a handful of all of these pouches and bags, and they sold out right away. So what you'll see with these 2, the navy and cream, and then also the navy and cream little bag over here, I have reordered from Sula. They just sent me a message today saying, hey, we've expedited your order. So I think these little guys come in again next week, even though it says on the website that they're coming in July 10th. What I have ordered is on the website. So you can order, you can add them to your cart and place an order now. They just won't ship until we get them in, which will be on or before July 10th. All right. But you know what? This works for me, and I like it because it's got all of the little, things. I can just set this right on my table. I don't even need to have like my little thing here that holds my tools because everything is kind of compartmentalized. So that works for me. But really, again, if this is all you're taking, then you don't need a big bag. Inside, this is key. If I plan on stamping on the trip, having a pencil board with me is important. And I will be doing a little bit of stamping. I'll be doing some stamping at each national park while we're there. So that will help if I have the pencil board to put between the pages of my insert. I have a couple of different stamping blocks. I have a roller date stamp because I don't leave home without that. I have a little tiny tape runner, just in case I need to tape in something a little bit larger, little tiny tape runner. But remember, Most of the trips that I've gone on, I have just a few things like that. Still totally works. I also have an ink pad. This is an ink pad. I'll have to see if I can find these to carry them. This I picked up in Japan after my friend Paula had it. And I liked this because it had a lid that had a, you know, they all have lids, but this one had a lid that can't fall off. And I have traveled before with my ink and had the lid fall off. So that's basically the tools I'm taking. Let me put this guy back in here. The other thing too, and just because it's my business and I travel a lot, I keep this loaded. So these things don't ever leave. So that when I'm ready to go on a trip, pick it up and go. And that's easy for me to do because it's my business and I can get a lot of these things again. But you don't have to do that. If you're not going to have a pouch that you have all ready to go, maybe keep a list of the things so that when you are getting ready to go on a trip and you're going to document on the road, reference that list so that you can make sure you have all the things that you want to have so you can do what you need to do while you are traveling. All right, so let me get all these little guys back in here just so I don't forget anything, because you know that's what'll happen. I'll forget something. I'm not taking those, and I've got that. All right, so that little guy fits right into my little big pouch here. And that's it, you guys. That is what I'm taking. Oh, actually, that's not true. One more thing I'm taking. I'm taking one more pouch. This pouch is a bunch of magazines and brochures that I have already cut up. Okay, and I have these organized by travel. That one has travel words in it. This one has numbers and dates in it. This one has kind of generic things in it. Anyhow, I find that if I have these already cut up, I've even started cutting up individual letters. If I have these already cut up, makes it a little bit easier if I don't feel like I have the time to start going through my magazines and brochures and cutting things up. All right, so these guys fit in that pouch, and that pouch goes right in there. And we're ready to go. Dandy, so they are on the website right now. You can order them right now. The pouch and that bag you can order right now. Because I did add the inventory, the orders have been placed. The smaller pouch, they shipped to me today. The larger little bag should be here around July 10th. So you can order them now. Your order will just wait until they come in. Here's another thing I should tell you. If you missed it, an email that went out yesterday, it is Christmas in July. This is my 6th annual Christmas in July. I do 2 things for Christmas in July. You can also bring a piece of scratch paper if you're stamping, so you can kind of do your little test stamping. So that's in there as well. Christmas in July. 2 things happen Christmas in July. One thing is I give you a coupon code for $5 off a purchase of 25 or more. All right? The pouch is still showing out of stock. This little pouch, Amy? Okay. Will you do me a favor? Will you put 9 in right now? That's how many I ordered for the little pouch. So if you would add 9, I would sure appreciate that. I guess I forgot to do that. There should also be 9 of the bag too. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are like, Lael, they're not there. They're not there. Just notice the Lael by Mail logo watermark on the bottom corner of your screen. Yes. Okay. Amy the inventory is showing 9, but it isn't updating. Okay, hang on. Let me just do this really quick, you guys. Let me just do it really quick because if you guys are looking, you're getting frustrated. So I've got my little laptop right here. Let me just see what the dealio is. And you know, I actually also have in my own personal stash a black version of the bag. But when I saw that they came out with that navy and cream color, that's kind of navy's my brand color. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. All right, so let me look. SOOLLA. Whoops, too many L's. All right, we're working on the fly. Warehouse. Oh, that's the bag. Okay, hang on. The bag, you can see the pouch. I bet I know what I did. I bet I added, I did. Okay, here we go. 9 I added to point of sale, not to the warehouse. So let's take those away. That is now fixed, my friends. So they are there. Yep, okay, we're good. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Amy. Did it on the fly. All right, okay. So now, will I be bringing my storage bags to sell at Camp Lake Lottawashi? Jesse, these, yes. I'll have all sizes of my storage pouches there. All right, so we've talked about how the whole kind of process started, and I changed my whole paradigm about traveling documenting on the road. We've talked about what I am taking with me, and now what we are going to do is I'm actually going to do some more prep work in my insert, right? Because if I can prep ahead of time, that's one less thing that I am doing on the road, right? So if I have to write all the things out and kind of add some stickers and add some washi and kind of decorate, if I do that ahead of time, one less thing I have to do, and that's what makes it manageable, right? I can do it in like 15 minutes, right? So I've already started doing a little bit of decorating. I've done some stamping, cutting some things out of different brochures. Our transportation will be our little Harvey the RV, so I will continue to kind of work on that. Here in the things to see and do section, I have taken a copy of our itinerary. Okay, so I made that little itinerary, a table in a Word document, and I folded it so it would fit. The bottom part of it is adhered, but this little part just kind of opens, and I did a little stamping right here. So using the documenting the details to stamp set, the little stamping and little arrow, and then it says open. So later when I'm like, oh, what's going on here? I'll go, oh yeah, remember that's our itinerary. Then for every day, I have already gone in, I used with pencil, wrote the date. So starting our date on July 5th, the city where we will be and where we are staying. City where we will be, where we are staying. Now I mentioned we are going to 4 national parks while we are on the trip. So I've already even have a little bit of memorabilia there, and we haven't even left yet. There are a whole slew of national park things on the website. Those are, I believe, linked in the description box of the video as well. Did I create the sticker on the front of that traveler's notebook? I did not. Isn't that amazing? I picked that up at, I think, a state park recently. There was a company, I don't know if it's called National Park Geek. I looked to see if I could carry them, and they only sell to national parks, at least from what I could find. So, but isn't that cool? I love that. And that's how also when we look back at all of the different inserts, even though the Document Your Travels inserts are decorative, I add something to the front of each of those that represents what it is, so that it's really easy for me to remember. Now this trip we're doing some national parks in the first insert, some national parks in the second insert, but that's okay. All right, if I've missed, let me see, the round square patches. Marion, will I be selling round square patches in the shop, the kind that are embroidered and say camping road trip? Marion, I'm not planning on selling any patches. Probably a little bit into a direction that I probably don't want to head down that path. So because I know the days when we're going to be in the national parks, I pulled from this sticker pack. There are 2 versions of this sticker pack on the website. This one is called Emblems, and it is 66 stickers, America's 63 national parks, plus 3 bonus stickers. They are in sheets, alphabetical order. These are vinyl. And then these guys are called just the circle sticker set. So same thing, different art, circle stickers and emblem stickers. So each of the days we were going to be in national parks, I've already pulled out that sticker. Now, we already know that Lael has a problem when she goes into the visitor center in National Park. That doesn't mean that I won't buy more stickers, right? But I've already started doing a little bit of the decorating ahead of time. So that's one less thing that I have to worry about while I'm on the road. So those are basically, like I said, same version, 2 different shapes. And there are a number of different national park stickers, national park postcards. There's whole postcard sets that I have on the website. When another way that I documented the trip to Europe that we went on, it was a postcard book. So I took a postcard from, I don't know, I probably had maybe 30 postcards in there, and I punched holes in them, put them on rings, and then did all my documenting like on the back of the postcard. So that was really fun. What I think I'm going to do with these national park postcards is every time we go to a national park, I'll put a little bit photo on the back and then put the dates and maybe a couple notes about it. But then this will be a whole other way that I'll document the national park. I'll end up with a little mini book of all of the national park postcards on rings. Another thing that you can do. So if I know that we're going to, we're going to Crater Lake. That's one of the parks that we're going to. So we're going to Crater Lake. I can take with me the Crater Lake National Park postcard. I can fill it out while we're there, and I can mail it back to me with a stamp, and then that takes your postcard to a whole nother level, right? Because then it's like memorabilia from the trip that is like postmark from where you are. Especially if you're traveling internationally, and then you have the international postmark and you have a cool stamp. And so that's what I plan on doing with the postcards. Those are also on the website. Okay. So let's now move into more of how I am documenting the trip. Yes, Amy, postcards make a great tip in as well. What Amy is referring to, let's see if I have one in, like this, right? So this is Amsterdam. It is a postcard from the Van Gogh Museum. And I just tipped that into the center of my traveler's notebook with some washi. So you can use washi or you can use tip-in tape. Tip-in tape is clear matte PET tape that I have on the website that you wouldn't even, be covering up. Well, you'd be covering up, but it's clear. So yeah, postcards are great to tip into your projects as well. Okay, so I have continued another national park the next day, and then there are days when we're not in national park. We're doing other things. Each of these inserts has enough spreads for 7 days. So because our trip is longer than 7 days, I am using 2 spreads. Sometimes I am document a trip that doesn't have 7 days. And if it doesn't have 7 days, all I do is come in and glue, like if we only had this many days, I just glue the rest of these pages together. Or you could use the pages, you could cover up the extra, things, or, continue to document or add your photos or whatever later. So at the end of that, you've got pages for trip roundup. So if this is where you wanted to start adding your photos or some of your lists that we talked about, like how many roundabouts, how many pubs did you go to, how many museums did you go to, how many castles did you go to, and so forth. All right. So I have 2 of these, like I said, because I have 2 different trips going. Or not 2 different trips, sorry. We have a longer trip, so I need 2. Okay, so I'm going now play. I'm going to play. We're going to play. I am going to come in and do some work on my days, right? This is way too plain. I know where we're going to be. I know where we're staying. But other than that, this first day is pretty much driving the whole day. So it's like, oh boy, I'm not going to probably have a lot of memorabilia unless I'm picking things up in gas stations or something. So I am going to, I've grabbed 2 little stamp sets here. These are both, actually 3. These are both from Far and Wide, my travel collection. So why don't I take this little guy from the Far and Wide Say It. It's one of our pieces of stacked word art. And again, I'm not filling all this out right now. All I'm doing is just adding a few things, maybe a little bit of washi, maybe a couple of stamps, so that it is decorated a little bit. And then that night when we pull in from a let's see, that's a really long travel day, from a 511-mile drive, I can write that there, whatever our distance is. I can write the temperature there. I can write what the weather looks like there. And then just kind of write our things and be done with it. Maybe I'll be talking about the treats that we have, for the treats that we're eating, or the music that we listen to, or the podcast that we listen to, or the audiobook, or, sometimes if it's a day where there's not a lot going on, I'll just, figure out what I want to write. Okay, so using that guy, now I feel like I think I'd like to have a little bit of color in here. So let's do let's find a blue. How about, maybe let's do prize ribbon. Let's do prize ribbon. I'll stamp that with prize ribbon. And this process can take, oh, I can't use prize ribbon. It's in the car from, we'll use blueprint sketch. How about that? It's in the car from photo shoot yesterday at the warehouse. Oh, I don't remember what I was saying there. Let's see, Tabitha. How much time do you spend in the evening documenting while you're traveling? I've taken a traveler's notebook insert with me, but I'm so tired at the end of the day to write it all down. About 15 or 20 minutes. And that's part of it. I mean, so it's just the facts. I mean, I'm not eloquent, right? Basically, when I'm writing those things down, it is just the facts. And that, I will tell you, it's a commitment, right? Because at the end of the day, we're tired. But also at the end of the day, we're not going to remember all the things the next day. So if we are making the notes on our phone, or those traveler's notebooks come in a set of 2. So one of them is the kind of template. The other one is just a lined traveler's notebook. So you could, in here, just be jotting down, whatever was happening during the day. But I do that on my phone. And at the end of the day, I pull up my phone and I just start writing about whatever it is that we did. Sometimes if I'm really too tired to do it at the end of the day, then the next morning, maybe I'll wake up a little bit earlier the next morning, or if we're driving in the car, or if I'm on an airplane, then I do that. So, for example, on this trip, on my trip to Japan, that first day, I worked on while I was on the flight to Japan. So all of this had to do with, I'm talking about how my flight got delayed, and so I had to fly into Detroit instead of Minnesota, and just kind of those things I did on the plane. So sometimes you have to take advantage of a little bit of that downtime to get it done, because if you don't do it one night, that means then there's 2 days to do the next night, and then 3 days to do the next night. And by about that time, you're like, forget it. I hauled all this stuff with me, and I'm not going to do it. And in this case, you haven't even really hauled a lot of stuff with you, right? If you have brought your photo printer and a whole bunch of die cuts and stickers, and my ink's not sticking, so let me clean that off and dry it off. If you brought all your stuff too, and you're like, oh my gosh, I lugged all this stuff around, I didn't even use it. So keep it to a minimum. And the whole point is, this isn't necessarily the only way you will document the trip. And I think for me, that takes a little bit of that pressure off, because I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get the facts down. And then later I will document the trip. Jill said, I am tired at night. My memory is not as good, right? So if you are making notes along the way in your phone, and maybe for some of you, it's in the morning. Maybe you're a little bit more fresh in the morning and you're having your coffee or whatever it is. Maybe you do it in the morning, or maybe you do it while you're sitting down at lunch, or, you figure out when is the best time for you, where you will feel energized to do it. But I'm telling you, when you will not feel energized to do it is when you get home. Because when you get home, life starts again, and you're just, and I've been there. I have tried a whole bunch of different ways to document my travels, taking a mini book with me, trying to do photos while I'm on the trip. And for me, I've never been successful. I've just not been successful. And this is a way that I found that I can be successful by taking minimal things, doing pre-work ahead of time, and then once a day. And I always say, you do you. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. But if it's important to you that you document it, then, we got to figure out how to make it work. Make it work, like Tim Gunn says, make it work. Send yourself a text message, right? Yeah. But I am really good. I'm really, really, really good about writing in my notes on my phone on a trip. That has really, really, really helped me. The other thing I do is I take lots of photos. So sometimes if you are taking lots of photos and maybe a lot of notes, you can go back to your camera roll, and your camera roll will help you remember. So if you want to remember what you ate, take pictures of your food before you eat it. If you want to remember the name of the castle that you went to, take a photo of the sign at the castle before you go in, right? Because then you're not going to forget what the name of that castle is. So usually what I do, if I do something like that, while I have that stamp out, I'm like, you know what? I think I might want to just use that same stamp maybe on our way home, because on the way home, there's some driving involved there too, right? So maybe I'll use the same color. I'll use the same color. That'll just be easy instead of switching it up. But I don't have to use only one stamp once. I'll usually kind of find a couple places to use it, so I make better use of my time while I have my supplies out. And I love that you guys are sharing ideas too. I love that. I love that you're sharing kind of what you do on a trip, what's worked for you. But I also love that you guys are sharing your challenges, right? Because the reality is we're tired at the end of the day on a trip. And so it's something that you got to decide if it's something that you want to do, if it's important to you. I will tell you, sometimes, I mean, especially in Japan, I mean, we were walking 20,000 steps a day. We were all over. I mean, it was a lot. And there were a couple of days where I'm like, you know what? I can't do it tonight. I cannot do it tonight. So in those cases, you know what I did? I waited. And sometimes I got up early, and I did it. There were a couple of days where I didn't get it done. And I will tell you, because this is reality, I'm not going to pretend like I'm perfect and I do all the things. So when you look at my Japan books, my Japan inserts, I have the first one all done. But then when we get to the second one, look what happened. I've got spaces, right? I have spaces where I documented, but I have spaces where I didn't document. But guess what? That's okay. You know why? Because I have this. That's the note from my phone that I printed out. And so every day, things I want to remember. I have 18th, 19th, 20th, because I did that every day on the trip, right? So even if 3 months later, I didn't do some of those days, I can still go back and do it and it's important for me that I do that I have that completely filled out, because that's part of how I document the trip. Melissa said, I like how you're adding color. I'm so stuck on black. I need to step out of the box. So you know what, Melissa? This is an easy spot to do that. And I get it, because for years, I would only stamp in black just because that's what I liked and that's what I was comfortable with. But in something like this is a great way to kind of step out of your comfort zone with color, because, I mean, you care, but also you kind of don't care, right? I mean, this is more a means to an end in terms of documenting the trip. Now, some of you might decide this is the only way I'm going to document the trip, and then, that's great. That's great. Let's see. Oh, Carol said, I think I need to remember to do notes on my phone using the voice to text option. I think that would be a game changer for those nights when you are too tired to write. Actually, now that you say that, when we were in South Africa last year, Nick and I went for our 30th anniversary, and we took, my mom and her best friend came with us. And when we were on safari, her friend Gail was doing very quietly, was texting, talk to text. And so she had all of the, incredible amount of detail in her text, because, or in her note, you can do it in a note as well. Because she was talking now very quietly and she wasn't disturbing anyone. But that's another great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, let's see what else we might want to do here. Stay curious. Oh, love this part. Let's do love this part. And I'm still using right now the Far and Wide Say It stamp. I need to grab this little stamping block here. So I really don't have a plan, right? I mean, I've pulled out some stamps that I know that I want to use. So what part do we think we're going to love? Well, I know we're going to love all these parts, but I'm going to stay away from the national park pages for a minute because, well, you'll see. You'll see in a minute why I'm going to do that. This guy, I'm going to pull out a couple of different blues, I think. Let me try these. Let's try these three. We, one day are going to meet, we're going to take a little flight and meet one of our friends, some of our friends in Roche Harbor. And so that will be, I know this will be, loved this part. So I'm going to come back here, grab my little pencil board here. And I think with this loved this part, the reason I pulled out 3 stamping or 3 colors is because I think what I'll do, that's on the water. So I think if I do that and then clean it off, and then I'm going to do, I think I'll do 3 of those, like a stack of those, because that could be kind of fun. It's just a great place to play, right? We're just in here playing. Oh, why did I do that? But decorating ahead of time. And if you had been doing what I do, where I cut up magazines and travel brochures and all the free things at the airport or the hotel or whatever, then you've got a lot of those fun words and phrases that just kind of tie right into some of your travels. All right, and then we'll do one more. Let's see. I want to get my nephew to do this when we go to the Grand Canyon so I can take his thoughts and turn them into a book as a gift after. Any suggestions for convincing a 26-year-old to do this? Oh boy. You know what you might, Wendy, be able to get? I mean, I don't know. If I think about trying to convince Sam to do this, I don't know if he would. If I asked him to, he might. But if you're going to tell your nephew why you're going to do it, he might. Maybe he might be more interested in doing it. If he won't do it, you know what you could do? You could probably convince him to do the talk to text, right? Because that's, kids that age. Well, kids, they're adults. I can say that because Sam is 26. But kids that age seem to be maybe a little bit more comfortable with that. So maybe if you could get him to do that and then send it to you, and then you could kind of do this for him. I don't know. Anyone else that's out there, I'd love it. If you guys have, input, you have advice for Wendy, pop it in the chat and I'll read it. Pop it in the chat. Oh, Amy, I love that. Amy said, what about asking him questions and writing his answers? That could be another fun way to do it, right? That is a great idea if you're taking littles with you. So if you have little kids that you're taking on a trip, think about it. Sometimes they get so bored. I'm even if you're not going on a national park trip, I'm going to tell you something about a national park that really struck me when we went with the boys when they were little. We went to Yellowstone, and the national parks have a junior ranger program, and they have figured out a way. I mean, they are masterful at what they've done. In terms of people collecting stamps and in each national park, but there's a junior ranger program. So when you go into a national park, we even did this, Nick and I did it when we went to Washington, D.C. They have a junior ranger program. So that's not a national park. It's all the different monuments there. They kind of have incorporated into that. But what they do is they have a little program that the kids have to go to all the places, and it's like word search and different things like that. When they're done, they go back to the visitor center or the ranger station, and you do a little pledge, and they give the person a patch, or these days they give you this. Well, they did this at the National Mall. So I was talking to the guy, I'm in one of the little booths at the different monuments, and I was asking him some questions and different things like that. And I'm like, oh, we love national parks, and we did this with our boys, and they were junior rangers. And he said, do you want to be a junior ranger? And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I can be a junior ranger? And he goes, yes, you can. And so he said, but you got to promise me you'll go do all these things. And I'm like, well, of course, we're doing all the things. And so he made me do the little oath, and I did the little oath. I promised to, whatever. And then he gave me that wooden pin. So with little kids, they've really done a good job of helping them feel like they're part of the process, and they're learning on the trip. Even if you're not going on a national park, maybe you're traveling with younger kids, come up with some things for them to do. One of the things that Nick and I do on every trip that we're in our RV is we play the license plate game. And I track them in our notebook in Harvey. So we track all the license plates and what we're finding. That's a great thing to have kids do. So you can take a little notebook like this, or you could take a composition notebook or a spiral notebook or something, play the license plate game. I bet if you go to Google, you could print out a copy of all the states and then put that in their little book and have them check off the license plates as they see them. Every day you could have them do this. What were your top 3 things from the day? So if you can get them engaged in the traveling with you, they could do something like this. And if they're too young, ask them the questions. Like Amy said, ask them the questions and then have them, or then you write the things in. But as they're collecting the little stickers and things like that, or cutting up little magazines, or you cut them up for them, give them a glue stick, have them put the things in. Because then what you're doing is, they're having fun, but we are introducing to a younger generation something that I feel is really important, and that's documenting their life. But it's documenting it in a really fun way, right? I love the conversations, you guys. I love the tips that you're giving, and I love the questions that you're asking too. Because I know my scenario and what works for me, but I love hearing you guys kind of your challenges or things that just different things. I love it. Jen's happy place said, I'm going to Arches and Canyonlands in September. I want to do the Junior Ranger program, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. Amy's linked some things and she's linking them again. They let you do it as an adult. They let me do it as an adult, Jen. I mean, and here's the thing. They're really friendly. I mean, the people that work for the national parks, and this is not only national parks, it's state parks. They're super, super friendly, and they want people to be engaged. They want to talk to you. They want you to have fun because then you're going to tell other people about it. So I'm pretty willing to bet you could say, hey, listen, I'm a scrapbooker or a memory keeper. I do travel journaling or, whatever it is. And I would love it. I'm documenting this trip. I know you have a Junior Ranger program. Can I participate in that? And I mean, it's just, I'd be shocked if they told you no. And if they told you no, well, it didn't hurt to ask, right? All right. So the 3 stamps that I have, this one is Far and Wide Say It. This one is Far and Wide Mini Icons, and this one is Postage Builder Travel. I pulled out Postage Builder Travel because there's a couple things that I want to use here. Oh, that's good timing, because on there, and I'm not going to do any postage. All I'm going to do is I'm taking the little icons. That is a little kind of lighthouse icon. So I don't know if there is a I'm sure there's a lighthouse in Roche Harbor. Of course there has to be. So I'll do maybe a little lighthouse over here. And I'll build out this page a little bit more so you can kind of see what I would do on a page before I moved on to something else. I feel like we need maybe a darker blue. Let's go to Chipped Sapphire. Melissa, we do the license plate game every time. And you know what? I'm going to tell you. You go to a national park and it is like a target-rich environment for license plate game in a national park because there's a ton of people that from different parts of the country. So I love it when we go to national park because then I am able to check a lot of things off of our license plate list. And sometimes we see Canada ones. Sometimes we see ones from Europe, and then we just add them to a little thing. All right, I always test first, right? Always a good idea to test first, whatever you're doing. Let's put this little guy maybe just right here. And we really won't be, actually, not true. We will also be in Lincoln City. So I'm gonna come back here. As much as I can try to, use more than one stamp just while I have them out, makes it easier. Lincoln City. So Lincoln City is on the Oregon coast. So I should be able to have even if there's not a lighthouse in Lincoln City, I might as well use something like that because that's appropriate for that area. We also have mountains. So let's grab my little mountains off of there. Let me think about where else we are going. What happens when you need more room to write your notes? Do you add a tip in? That's a good question. I could add a tip in, or I could go to the back of the insert. You have some blankish pages in the back. You have trip roundup, you have favorites, you have extras and notes. You could put it there. Tip in's probably the easiest way to do it though. Let's see. Anyone, let me see. What happens when you need, got it. What's a license plate game? Louisa, license plate game is what we did when we were kids, when we didn't have DVD players in the car, when we didn't have little Game Boys to play to keep us occupied. We played the license plate game, and that's where you're basically looking for license plates for all 50 states. And then you just, mark them down when you see them. Just something to pass the time when you're driving. Anyone have those mini printers, something smaller than the Canon Selfie? Groovy Girl cards. I have 3 or 4. And I will tell you, they're all awesome. I have stopped taking them on a trip with me. And that's just, me. They're still great, but I find again that if I am taking a mini printer with me, then I get caught up in, oh wait, hold on. I only have so much room. I need another page? How am I going to do this with photos? I could come in towards the back and add photos. If I'm doing this document your travels inserts, the second one that comes in the set has a whole bunch of pages, so I could add them there. But for me personally, even though I have them, I find I don't take them on trips with me anymore, just because it takes that 15 minutes that I would like to spend at the end of a night and adds a heck of a lot more time to it. Because then I'm like, well, wait, what photos do I want to use? Which photos should I use? I want to add more photos. Now what do I do? All right, let's go with, how about Evergreen Bough? I had that one out earlier. Maybe we'll do Rustic Wilderness, because I don't know where Evergreen Bough is. Let me see. Do you just find license plates? Yep, find license plates from other states. Absolutely. That's a great game to, get kids to. It's kind of like I Spy, but for license plates. Let's see. Oh, you guys were talking about this Liene. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that printer, that little mini printer. Liene. I'll have to check it out. Okay, so Lincoln City. No, not Lincoln City. Let's see. Where are we? Where I can use the little mountains. Crater Lake. So Crater Lake, there's mountains in Crater Lake. I know that. So let's put this over here. Ooh, that's fun, isn't it? That's from Postage Builder. Now, in this second part of the trip, we have hang on, I keep flipping you guys off. North Cascades. That is also going to have some, let's put it right here, mountains. Okay. So it's just pulling out your stuff, pulling out what you have, and just start playing. And if you don't have a lot of stamps, then cut things out of magazines, right? Cut things out of magazines, cut things out of brochures. And if you don't have, maybe from Pacific Northwest, maybe you haven't been there yet, maybe you don't have any of those things. And if you don't have any of those things, then, just get the bare bones stuff done from the trip. And then while you are on, hang on, we're just looking at this one more time. Oh, there's a day when you take a ferry. Let's grab that. And then while you're on the trip, do a little bit more of your decorating. Or you might be like, you know what? I don't even want to decorate. I just want a place where I can get things ready ahead of time and then write all my stuff down while I'm on the road. All right, this goes back to when we are going to, I think we have to take a ferry. And I don't remember what day we're taking the ferry, but guess what? If I go back to my itinerary here, it will tell me ferry, the 13th. Oh yeah, I guess that would make sense there. So we better pull in some green. Well, even though the ferry probably wouldn't be green, that's okay. I just need more color here. Just a little ferry. You could use stickers if you don't have stamps. You can go to your stash of different products and find stickers or whatever it may be. Let's see. Magazines, I'll start cutting them up. And here's the other thing. Let me tell you one of the things I do. If you are on the trip and you have started collecting a lot of things, this is actually several trips to the Jackson Hole area and Grand Teton National Park. So every time I go, I just add more things. But things like this, when you have pulled something like this, Greater Yellowstone Wildlife Safety Guide. Well, I don't really care about wildlife. I do care about wildlife safety, but I'm not really interested in reading about it. What I am interested in is like this beautiful thing. I could cut that out and it goes in the bottom. I could cut out some little bears. I could put Yellowstone. I could cut those things. But if I don't want to have to take this whole thing with me, I could cut things out on the trip and then toss it, right? I don't need the rest of it, but I can cut things out on the trip. And then that's when I'm doing like this. That's when I'm storing them in those little guys. So I don't have to bring as much home with me. That, if you're too tired to document, maybe you're not too tired to cut out things from your, the brochures and different things that you have collected along the way. How cool is this? I just picked this up when we were in Grand Teton. Grand Teton has its own washi tape. And you know what's funny? I didn't even notice it. We went on that trip with Sam and his girlfriend Elena's like, Lil, did you see this? They have washi tape of Grand Teton. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that. Oh my gosh, I have to have that. More questions. What are some recommended stamps items, aside from the 3 already linked, that would be good for an Iceland trip? National parks are covered. You already have national park covered. I would probably go with really generic things. Generic travel stamps. You could also look at doing like rub-ons, like travel rub-ons, but you probably have a little bit of a difficult time finding specific things for Iceland. However, I will tell you, these, I would probably use this one, would be really fun. Destination Unknown. This stamp set and the larger version of the stamp set are designed for you to create your own versions of where is that? Your own versions of, oh, maybe in here? Oh, these, right? So these things are easy to find in the US. They are not easy to find in Europe. I found they weren't easy to find in Europe. So when I came back, I had to buy them off of Amazon for the 3 different countries we were in, and they were not cheap. That's what made me decide, hey, you know what? We should design our own stamp where you can make your own little kind of destination travel stickers. So something like that could be fun. Something like that could be really fun if you wanted to, different cities or different countries, you could make your own little stamps like that. I will do something in here. I have planned. I just don't know what it is yet. There's another version. That's a sticker, right? So, I mean, stickers can get expensive, right? You're usually looking at like maybe $3 or $4 for one of those little stickers. But if you have stamp set, then you can make as many as you want. This guy, the travel rub-ons, and I think I only have 1 sheet in here. There are 2 different separate sheets, but rub-ons would be really easy to work with too, and they'd all be really generic. They'd all be super generic for that particular trip. Let me see. I'm trying to see. Amy did. Look what Amy did for us. Amy also went on that Japan trip. Amy created for all of us those little kind of Destination Unknown stamps for us. Isn't that awesome? So that they were really personalized. I love that you guys are talking about all of these fun, the printer, man, there's a lot of chit chat about the printer. I got to take a look at that. For sure have to take a look at it. Okay. I think if I didn't answer a question, if I missed something, if you guys wouldn't mind asking it again, that would be great. I think I'm probably good with this one for now. This little guy, your little mini icons, your far and wide mini icons. These are great little icons just to throw things in and decorate. So if we come back here, and then I will move to the national park pages because you've got to see what is new for the national park pages. All right, we have a little suitcase. So I feel like suitcase, I don't know. So for some reason I feel like suitcase should be brown. Even though my suitcases are black, I feel like suitcase should be brown. So let's grab that little guy. I just need a piece of scratch paper here so I don't keep pulling in and out my, look at the detail on those. Isn't that crazy? Nice, really nice sharp stamps. So let's go back to this day. When I am doing this and I am prepping the entire trip at once, it is a mess. I've got so many different stamps out. I have so many different, let's see, let's go back here. Maybe we'll put our little suitcases right here. So this little set of trees right here, I cut that out of a magazine. Right? You don't have to have all the stickers and all the stamps. I collect so many of those brochures, and I even started picking up brochures or travel magazines, the free ones, places I'm not even going, because there's so many great words that you can pull from those magazines into just your everyday, or into any of your trips, just kind of generic things. And you know what? We might as well make a big. Maybe we'll put this little gun right here, a little suitcase here, because what that's going to be is a lot of laundry, right? That could be like, how many loads of laundry did you do when you got home if you were making a list about your trip? Oh, Groovy Girls card said we were in Joshua Tree in May. Loved it. Got my lifetime pass to national parks. I love that. Nick is about, I think you have to be 62 or 63. I don't remember. Nick will hit it before I will. And so, but I can't wait, because I think it's $80, isn't it? And it's your lifetime pass. It's like, that is a benefit from getting older. And then you can go, and all of those national park passes are great for most of the state parks too, which is kind of cool. All right, this little guy I'm pulling, this definition, vacation, a happy getaway from the everyday grind. Isn't that the truth, right? So this is a vacation. It's also a working trip. Nick and I will both be working while we're on the road, but we will also be playing. So that's good, because that's important, right? Maybe we'll just do that right there. We'll just tuck that right in there. Vacation. So what would I use? What color would I use? Kind of stuck on, maybe we'll get a blue again. This same set of colors. Now, if you're doing something tropical, well, you use whatever colors you want, right? But if you're using something tropical, you can pull in different colors. Or usually when I'm doing this, especially on the days, I end up using a lot of black, just because with black, then when I'm on the trip, I can take colored pencils in and kind of color on top of, or color in some of the stamps. There we go. For the Japan trip, that was actually quite amusing, because I started doing this night before we left at about, 11 p.m., which is really late to start. Usually it's the night before, right? It's the night before, and yeah. So you guys are actually helping me out here. You are actually helping me out by, look at how much I'm going to get done. Let's pull in some black. I think we'll pull in a little black. That's just a little go. But it's just fun. It's playing. There's no rules. There's no rules at all. Just playing. 65. I don't think it's 65, Jennifer. Well, unless it changed. We asked last year. And the lady said, oh, but you've got a long ways to go. She looked at me and she's like, you got a long ways to go. And I'm like, yeah, not really. You really have no idea. And then, she said to Nick, you've got a ways to go. And he said, no, I'm this age. And she's like, no way. Well, yeah, then soon. A little go right there. But then when I use something like that, I might as well just flip through some pages and add. This is when we're going. This is a lot. That's a lot of travel day. Now, usually I don't put them all on one page, but maybe we'll go right here. Just kind of add them throughout. And then I should go to the second one too while I'm at it. Now, I could sit here and probably do this for 2 hours. And you guys would be like, yeah, I'm done, Lael. I don't want to watch you do this for 2 hours. You're just kind of playing. But I am playing. That's what I'm doing, right? Oh, that was not a good idea. Did you see what I did? Don't do that. Don't try to stamp on top of something that's on top of something else that's also on top of a pencil board. got going too fast there. I want to move now. I'll come back to some of these other stamps that I've already got now, but I want to move now to the new National Park Love stamp set that we just came out with. The way that I design products is basically necessity is the mother of invention, where I'll be like, oh, I could really use some tweezers that would help that, or I could really need some travel rub-ons to document one of my trips. Or, hey, why haven't I thought about this before? We really love going to national parks. Wouldn't it be nice if I had a national park stamp set to document our trips to the national parks? So the idea for this one came up when Nick and I were in southern Utah, the end of, over Memorial Day, I think. And we'd gone to Mesa Verde National Park, and we were driving on the way home through a state park. And usually that's where I get a lot of ideas, when we're traveling in the RV and Nick is driving and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, we need a national park stamp. If I had a national park stamp to document this trip, it'd be great. And I just start making a whole bunch of notes. And at one point I said to Nick, this is what I'm thinking of. Now, we just came back from a national park. Do you have any ideas for it? And he had the best idea. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a genius. So when all was said and done, this is the new, actually, let me just put it on a white background just so it's a little bit easier for you to see. This is the new National Park Love stamp set. So it is designed very specifically for documenting your trips to the national park. So big title, National Park Love, taking in the view, loved this place, seriously so good. Some words and phrases: I was here, tourist, favorite spot, road trip, I learned, worth the stop, scenic spot, miles traveled to get here, a rating, kind of your 5-star rating system, a little legend of miles, heart this place, star, an arrow, a heart. There it is with the finger pointing. So maybe if you're going to like Old Faithful, and at any time when you're documenting, you have a picture of Old Faithful, or you cut Old Faithful out of one of your brochures, and then you say, there it is, there's Old Faithful. This little checklist: grabbed the park brochure, stopped by the visitor center, picked up a souvenir, went on a walk or hike, chatted with a ranger. So that is the National Park stamp set. This was Nick's idea. He said, hey, this part, every time we go into the visitor center at the national park, you are always doing the stamps in the visitor center. So your national parks have these. A lot of state parks have these, where they have a little stamping station. And it is a stamp that is specific to where you are, Grand Teton National Park, and there is the date. So I stamp those every time we go to a national park, and I stamp multiples of them because I'm like, well, I might want to put it in my memory planner. I might want to put it in my travel journal. I might want to, I don't know. So I just stamp a bunch. Nick's idea was, hey, you're always stamping these. So what if you had a stamp that you could stamp that little thing inside of? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Nick, you are a genius. I'm like, you're so smart. You're so smart. So that is what that stamp is meant for. Now I'm going to tell you a little story here about when I was documenting, oh yes, our trip to Shenandoah National Park. We were there on June 20th. In the car, Lael, you know better, in the car, parking lot of the visitor center, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to pre-stamp my little junk journal page here because I want to take it in the visitor center and do this. So I'm in the car. I am stamping on my lap in the car. Do I have a pencil board? No. And actually, it turned out okay. Then I colored in with a colored pencil. That turned out okay. I colored in with a colored pencil. What did not turn out okay was this. When I stamped this, only the sides ended up stamping, and I had to come in with my little pen and fix it. So number one, don't stamp on your lap in a car. We know better. Number two, if you're going to stamp on your lap in a car, take a pencil board, because had I had a pencil board right there, it would have given me a flat surface to stamp on. But the thing that I learned about this particular circle stamp was that I would have been better off if I waited to stamp that circle until I stamped that in the visitor center, then came back out and stamped that. The reason is those stamps that you're stamping in the national park, you can't see through them. You're just like going like that. You can't really see where you're stamping. So if I had waited, I would have been able to center that inside of my circle because that would have been stamped and then I could have centered my circle around it. All right. I did take my insert with me into the National Park Visitor Center and I just waited till all the people were done stamping and then I did my little stamp there. But I also stamped several of these just in case. You may not want to take your traveler's notebook into a visitor center. You may not want to take your traveler's notebook wherever that you're going and want to stamp if there are stamps there. So if you don't want to do that, just do something like this, and then I can come back and cut that out and then adhere it right into that little circle right there. Okay? So this, as we're kind of going through everything, so you can know what the plan is for the next two series, the next two lives in the series. The second one will happen on Thursday, the 9th of July at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and you'll get emails about all this. But that one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down one of these days, and I'm going to take what was this, and I'm going to do my end of day journaling. So you can see what I'm adding. You can see how quick it is. You can see that one will probably be a half an hour. It'll be pretty quick, right? Because that's what it is. It's supposed to be quick. It's not supposed to take 2 hours at the end of a day because that's really not, in my world, that's really not, that is really not, what's the word I'm looking for? Realistic. I'm not going to sit down for 2 hours at the end of a really long day and do this on a trip, but I can commit to 15 minutes. So I'll be doing that on the 9th. And then on the 16th, I will be doing one of these, one of my junk journal spreads, where I'm basically cutting up all the things that I have collected along the way. I have on the blog at lailbymail.com, when you go into the blog, there's a little drop down and you can select kind of the topic that you're looking for. There's a drop down that says junk journal, and that's where you will see all of my blog posts from my junk journal spreads like this. So when I'm going on a trip and I'm not doing a full insert like this, I at least will do a junk journal spread. That's from a little craft fest in Houston earlier this year. That is from a trip that we did to Tacoma. Somewhere in there I should have a date. Oh, I didn't do there it is, May 6th to May 10th. That same trip we did Mount Rainier. So just my little junk journal spreads, and that's where I'm cutting things up, using the park stamps and doing different things like that as well. All right, so that one is taking place on Thursday the 16th also at 5 p.m. But you'll get emails for both of those. Just make sure that you subscribe to my emails. Okay, so let's go back here, and I'm going to do one of the national park pages. Lassen Volcanic National Park. That is in Northern California. We will be going west to Reno, and then from Reno to Manzanita Lake, and we'll do Lassen. No. Hang on a minute. Just hang on one gosh darn minute. Oh yeah, that's not supposed to say Oregon. That's where I got confused. That's Manzanita Lake, California. I will go in with whiteout or something and fix that. So that is in Northern California. We will be doing that national park. And then we are going from there. Well, the four that we're doing. Lassen, Crater Lake, Olympic, and then North Cascades. So we already did Rainier when we were there. Our older son lives in Tacoma, so when we were there in May, we did Rainier already. So already crossed that one off our list. Don't need to do that for this trip. Oh, and because I was in the car stamping, I didn't have anything to clean my stamp. So it's probably a good idea that we clean that stamp before we use it. I will stamp in black, but anyway, it should be clean before I use it. I love doing junk journals too, Colleen. That is one of my favorite ways to document. Collecting labels and receipts and, bits and pieces of a lot of different things. And to talk about freeing, that's a great way to document because there are no rules. I mean, there's really no rules to any of this, but when you're junk journaling, there are really, really, really no rules, for sure. The end of last year, we bought an annual park pass for this year. And I tell you, we will have gotten our money's worth out of it. Like, I think we'll have this year, I think six or seven national parks this year. I think your annual pass is like $80 or something. And your average entry into a national park is about $35. And so if you were planning on really doing 2 to 3 in a year, you're way better off buying a national park pass for the year, an annual pass. The other thing is, I think, I feel like maybe we should do a little bit of brown there. And you know what else we can do? I'm going to pull back out from, where did it go? Oh, this. So this could kind of look like volcanoes too. I'll use that same stamp. If I change the color and if I put it in brown, then maybe a little bit more like a volcano as opposed to the Pacific Northwest. Now, the only thing is, I'm going to end up with brown clouds too, just because I don't want to try to mask those off or try to not get ink on those clouds. So that's okay. The brown clouds may make it look like it's erupting. Lassen National Park, Lassen Volcano National Park has the 4 different types of volcanoes all in the same park, from what I understand. Nick told me that. We have a national park book that at some point before we leave, we try to read up on wherever we're going. So at least we have a little bit of an idea what we want to do before we get there. So let's do this. Maybe we'll just do this guy right around here. Oops. There, now it becomes a volcano. And if it's brown, it's a volcano. If it is green, it is a mountain. That would be awesome, Colleen, if you want to pop those into the Lail by Mail Facebook group. I would love that. No, $80 is not bad at all. Again, and it's the other thing. Also works in a lot of your state parks. So your state parks have entrance fees. So once you look at it that way for a year, it is actually really, it's very economical. Very economical. As long as you're not going to the visitor center and buying. That's where I get in trouble. I mean, I don't get in trouble, but you know what I mean. That's where all of the economy goes up. The economies of scale go out the window there. We'll do the brown version of I Love, or National Park Love. Somebody asked a minute ago if we would do a lake stamp set. Maybe. Amy, will you just make a note of that? We have some friends that have a lake house, and we usually visit it with them a couple times a year. So I could make a lake stamp work for me, right? All right. And that totally changes based on, obviously, the color that you stamp with. You don't need to buy a lot of things. I mean, if you have some different colors of ink and you have, a couple stamp sets, that can go really, really far. All right, let's see. Let's do this here. National Park Love. I feel like maybe we'll go down here because I'm trying to just, make a little, whoopsie. Okay. Sandy asked that a lot of the national monuments don't accept a lifetime park pass we discovered. So that could be something like if you know that you're going to be in a particular part of the country, maybe you're going to, particular part of the country and doing some traveling. Maybe do some research to find out before you go whether it would make sense. If you're only going to that area and you think, oh, I should get a national park pass because we're going to go one national park and 5 state parks and national monuments or whatever. If some don't accept it, then it would, you want to know. You want to know. So this miles traveled to get here. I think I will end up using that on every single national park spread I'm doing. Even though we know how many miles we're traveling or how many steps we're walking every day. I would like to know, how far is Lassen Volcanic National Park from home? How far is Crater Lake from home? How far is, all of the different parks that we're going to from home? Yes, that's gonna be my smallest. That's gonna be right-sized for me. Let's see. What do we see here? Oh, Colleen, I know. Unfortunately, for non-U.S. residents, the cost for entrance to the national parks is more expensive. Yeah, and they just made a change to that this year. Unfortunately,
Really
it's
expensive now.
oh yeah. Nick's painting right outside the door. Yeah, very expensive now. Like I think it's like $200 or $300, and I'm so sorry. Those of you that are international, I'm so sorry that we did that. That makes me so sad because, I mean, I know what they are. Well, I don't agree with it, but from what I have heard, you know, the people that did that in our government said, well, you know, it's the taxpayers, it's our taxes in the United States that pay for national parks and things like that. And if you have people from other countries that aren't paying the taxes, then they should pay more. And I think, you know what? No, we want people to come to our country. We want people to come to our national parks. So. I'm sorry that it's that way. I feel bad, and I hope maybe one day that changes, because it makes me sad. It makes me sad.
Okay, this door frame is wet, so be careful.
Okay, I will be careful. Miles traveled to get here, and then I'll write that. Or I can write it ahead of time. Well, you know, right there, miles traveled. Actually, all of that I can figure out ahead of time. From our doorstep to Lassen Volcanic National Park. So that's an even more pre-work that I can do, right? So I won't do this live, but I will go to all of my national park pages and I will stamp that same thing. I will wait, based on what I learned at Shenandoah National Park, I will not stamp that yet. I will wait until we go to the national park. I'll do the stamp, and then I will come back and stamp that outside of it. I will have a much better chance of getting my stamp centered if I stamp that one after the fact. Then we have this guy. This is that little cute checklist. And these are things that I do in a national park. I always grab the park brochure. Always. Thank you. Hydration break. I always grab the park brochure. And if I can, I get two. Now, usually when you're pulling in, they will only give you one. But then if you go to the visitor center and ask for another, or, you know, you'll get another one at the visitor center. Callie, working on my shopping cart. Will you be reordering the Adorbs airplane window pen? I know, those went so fast. I will reorder them. But it may take 2-ish weeks before they come back in. It just depends on who I order them from, how long they will take to get them back to me. I also have to look at what their minimum order is and see if I need to order anything else from them. That's a big one too. But although I bet, you know, actually I know I can do that because those you know, those little pins are you know, they're not cheap. They're not super expensive, but they're also not cheap, right? So right here, we're going to stamp this one. So on every national park page, I will do that. Grabbed the park brochure, stopped by the visitor center, picked up a souvenir, went on a walk, hike, chatted with the ranger. And then I'll check those off at night when I am doing my little journaling. So you guys, something like that, I mean, that's really all I need to do. I mean, 'cause I'm going to do my writing. And then as I am doing my writing, as I'm doing my writing, I will also bring in my colored pencils, right? Because that's a really easy, inexpensive way that I can highlight things and add color. So whether it's on a junk journal page, like there's that taking in the view stamp that comes from that National Park stamp set. And then I wanted to add some color, so all I did was outline it with a little green colored pencil from that little little credit card set, and then just lightly colored it in. So you don't have to stamps. You could add all your art by writing words and then highlighting them. So what I wanted to remember here, and I don't even have to read it, I can see Dark Hollow Falls. Oh yeah, we went on a hike, and the name of the hike to a waterfall was Dark Hollow Falls. We also did Appalachian Trail. Well, we didn't do the Appalachian Trail. We walked maybe 100 feet on the Appalachian Trail. Appalachian Trail is like 2,300 miles. But that cut out from park brochure. That's the park brochure that I just cut out that front part and smacked it right on there. Things cut from magazines. There's a little your travel park stamp. And then that's also part of the travel park stamp. Okay. So there's just a couple more things that I want to do while we're live. Yes. Amy, will you do me a favor? Shoot me an email. I know there's a couple things that I need to follow up on. One of those is to reorder that airplane window pin, please. Okay, let's see. I thought I saw something about, hold on. I don't know. If I missed something that I need to answer, just let me know. You guys know the stamps, you can always ask for a stamp. I mean, if you're like, oh my gosh, I wish we had this stamp, ask me. If it makes sense for my business, then we will consider doing it. If it doesn't make sense, if someone's like, hey, we'd really like it if you would do a stamp about knitting. And I'd be like, you know, I don't knit. So it doesn't really make sense for me to have a knitting stamp if I don't knit. I mean, but we'll certainly listen to you, right? Things like this, your word strip stickers. Those are far and wide word strip stickers. You guys know I love word strip stickers. That's a really easy way to just add some other things, right? Check out this view. Well, we know we'll be looking at a view somewhere. I mean, I could use check out this view on any page. That would be, how about this? Check out this view of the border town casino and RV park. Yeah, probably not much of a view there, right? This would be fun. We'll just put this little guy right here. So you'll find that you can use a lot of your products, a lot of your junk journaling products or your listing products or your scrapbooking products, your memory keeping products that you can use, because this kind of format is just kind of throw it all in. It's like everything but the kitchen sink, but you're adding everything but the kitchen sink at home, so you don't have to take everything but the kitchen sink with you. Tracy's footprint, stamp of health and wellness. And the other thing you guys can do is you can shoot us an email, right? And say, hey, really like it if you would do this, or really like it if you would do this, or really like it if we could have a stamp like this, or would really like it if we had this tool, or, I mean, sometimes we get our best ideas from you guys. So absolutely, I would love to hear that. Rub-ons, that's another thing, right? Rub-ons, if you're not much of a stamper and you're like, I don't even want to deal with stamps. Rub-ons are a great alternative because they look like stamps. There are two different sheets of rub-ons in the travel pack. For some reason, I don't have the second sheet in there. So I just pulled that out, one of the sheets. I am going to staple the rub-on sheet to its very important friend behind it so they don't get separated. Like that. Really quick, let me answer that question. How do you pack your stamps? So I try not to take a lot of stamps with me because what happens is, do you see, I've probably used 6 or 7 stamps already. If I'm packing my stamps, I'm taking, giant stacks. So I will take a few. I will for sure take my National Park stamp, and I'll probably take a couple of the far and wide stamps that I have been using. It's just going to depend on how much of this I can get done before I go, because I still have a lot of work to do before I leave. So if I am taking stamps with me, I had pulled those couple out of, did I put it back in here already? Did I throw it on the floor? I had pulled it out of one of, hang on, something like that, or, hang on, let me pull out the different sizes. Are they here? There we go. Okay. These little guys, and these are little, I don't remember what these are called. These are linked on the page that's linked on the website for the kind of national parks, this whole kind of the different products that I'm using. But these are just kind of heavier plastic envelopes with that little Velcro right there. So if I do like that, I don't keep them in the package, right? I don't keep them in the package like, those things in the little resealable bag. I'll put it in something like that. Alphabet sticker sheets, Melissa said. National Park rub-on sheet. Oh, we can certainly think about that, because I know not everyone is a stamper, right? Not everyone is a stamper. What did I just think of? Oh, this was the other thing. On this trip, I will probably take this with me. This is a reusable sticker book. And you've seen me talk, well, you may have seen me talk about these before. I carry these on my website. This is a little small 4x6 sticker book, well, reusable sticker book that has 100 pages in it. And the pages are basically that type of page that your stickers are on. When you buy a package of stickers and the stickers are on a, kind of slick surface so that the sticker doesn't stick to it. But this book has 100 of those pages in it. So I can do something like that. I can take stickers off of my sticker sheets and put them in a book like this. And look how many stickers, because there's 100 pages, I can take a lot of stickers with me. So when I am kind of taking a little bit of a larger bag, like I am on this trip, I can throw those in the bag as well. All right, let's go back to rub-ons. Oh yes. So I stapled those two sheets together. It's really important that your rub-on sheet does not become separated from this sheet. And actually, this is like a reusable sticker sheet. Same concept. It makes it so your rub-ons do not adhere, right? We don't want them to adhere to this. But I want to keep them together because if the sheets become separated, then the chances of my rub-on rubbing somewhere where I don't want it to is, a potential. So I have them stapled together. I am going to, when I find a rub-on that I want to use, I'm going to cut it away from the sheet. So these are just our travel rub-ons. Cut that away from the sheet, wide open spaces. Well, we know on this trip, there's going to be wide open spaces, right? So maybe we'll do it here. Maybe we'll do it on our Crater Lake National Park page. Looks like a stamp, but not, right? A little bit easier because I don't have to get out my ink and my stamps and clean them and all of that. So maybe we'll put wide open spaces. How about right here? So if you haven't worked with rub-ons before, or if it's been a while, I just give you a couple tips before you're ready to use them. Next tip is when you set them down, leave them. Do not try it if you're like, oh, I didn't really want it there. Once you set it down, the chances of part of that rub-on now adhering to your page are pretty great. So if you try to pick it back up again, part of the rub-on may have adhered, part of it may not. So get it where you want it and then leave it. Don't try to move it. Next thing is don't let go. Do not let go. So I pulled out my little very fancy, very expensive rub-on tool, aka a popsicle stick. They come in the package. And you're just taking that little popsicle stick, something blunt, and rubbing across that rub-on so it will transfer from the sheet that it's on onto whatever you want to rub it onto. But you don't want to let go. If that rub-on moves, part of it has already rubbed on and part of it hasn't. So if it moves, it's going to create a break or a crack in your rub-on. So I just rotated it and moved my fingers so I could get to the space where my fingers were a minute ago. Make sure that it get that kind of all done. And then I am going to still hold on. I still want to be holding on because if by chance any part of that rub-on did not rub on, I want to have a chance to be able to put it back down and rub it on again without everything moving. So I'm grabbing my tweezers. See right there? Well, that little end you probably can't see. Ooh, that line in the end, it didn't adhere. Because I haven't moved it, all I have to do is lay that back down and come right back over that spot, and then I'll peek again. If you try to take your sheet off, and then if everything didn't rub on and you try to put the sheet back on again and then get it in the same space, that's kind of like trying to stamp and your stamp didn't quite get all stamped on and then trying to stamp over it again. If you're using a Misty or something like that, that's a whole different ballgame. But if you're trying to do something like that and you've already lifted it off and try to do it again, good luck. So rub-ons, what's really cool with rub-ons is you can do some different things with them. You can put them on paper like this. You can add rub-ons to a photo. You can add rub-ons to an embellishment. So if you have a die cut or something like that, you could put your rub-on on your die cut and then put it down. You could put ink down first and then, so you could, take your little blending tool and add a little bit of ink and put your rub-on on top of the ink. You can even color in rub-ons like this. So if I had colored pencils or markers or something, I could come in and color that on too, or color in that. So your rub-ons can be really versatile in, in your projects. So the other thing I think I will do, we know we're doing a really quick flight. I will grab the little flyaway here. And wander where the Wi-Fi signal is weak, right? We better not be doing that when I'm doing my lives over the next 2 weeks, but we certainly could be doing that, other times. Usually, this is a different trip for us. We are staying in campgrounds or RV parks the entire time. And generally, we don't do that. Usually, we boondock. We basically go in the middle of nowhere on BLM land, and we're just out by ourselves. So it's not often that we stay in an RV park or even a campground. We are self-sufficient in our RV. It has generator, and it has it has solar panels on top. And it's teeny. Well, it's not teeny, but it's pretty small. It is 23 feet, but that also includes you drive it too. So, but it has electricity, and so we can go in the middle of nowhere, running water, toilet, shower. So you can go in the middle of nowhere and still be glamping. All right, so we think that looks good. We'll pick that guy up, and then do that. There's one more thing I'd like to do. I would like to do one of the little destination unknowns. One of these little guys. So I will create my own little, my own little kind of national park looking sticker, right? So if we go to, now I need to think about that. Now if it's North, oh my gosh, that was Nick, drop something. If it's North now I gotta think about this. If it's North Cascade, do we have one that has 3, Crater Lake, CL? I could do CL, or I guess NS. Or what if I go NOC? Is that weird? Okay, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Let's brainstorm together. Of the 4 national parks, what could I use that might be, like for Japan, I did JPN. Can we please get a tour of your RV when you're there? Oh, Tracy, sure, I can do that. Yeah, you know what maybe we'll do? Maybe we'll do that on the night at the end of the day where I'm just filling all this out, because that'll be pretty quick. Remind me if you would. Olympic National Park, ONP, no, OLY. What would make sense? OLY, maybe? This is what I need to know, because when you go to the national park, sometimes they have this one. Sometimes, look, here we go, SNP. So that's what they did, SNP. So I could just do OMP. We'll do Olympic National Park. We'll make our own little sticker. It doesn't have to be a sticker, but you know what you can do. What I did on my Japan, that would be, if you guys could see the mess and the stack in here. I'm looking, oh gosh, I just turned around. Reggie is sleeping on my trimmer. He is sleeping on my trimmer. That does not look very comfortable. All right, let's look. Oh, wait, it's in this one. See, I use a lot of different traveler's notebooks. It's my junk journal from one of my junk journal spreads from that trip, and that would be right here. So what I did, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I first stamped that directly on the page, and it was super blurry, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? I said, wait a minute, I have sticker paper. So I re-stamped it again on sticker paper, and then used the metal die to cut it out. So I made my own little sticker for that. It was a happy accident. The first 4 letters, Olympic, O-L-Y-M. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if I can, O-L-Y-M. Let's see if I can fit it. Oh, and then look, Amy said the Olympic is ONP. So I think you can do it a couple different ways, right? Here's the deal. I think we get to decide whatever we want it to be. We'll see if we can fit in the little smaller one. Your little oval is much smaller in the Destination Unknown Mini, but in Destination Unknown, that's like the giant size, right? Like a lot of you see a lot of the stickers that way. I would have more room theoretically to do, more letters there. But we're going to do a mini. So let's get this out. My little oval. And then OLYM. ONP. Isn't that funny? We're looking at two different websites. I think I'm going to do ONP because I think that ONP is going to have a greater chance of fitting here. Olympic National Park. I think there's two ways we can do it, it looks like. All right, so I do something a little bit different on this than I do when I normally stamp. When I normally stamp a word, I stamp each letter individually. And I don't want that one. I do that because I like to control how close my letters are together. When I said on that stamp it was blurry, the reason it was blurry was because I tried to, hang on, I need one more stamping block that's already, this. Because I tried to stamp each letter individually, that was a hot mess. So when you are trying to do, if you're doing this with all three little letters, line them up on your stamping block, way easier that way. O. N. P. Do you see how I'm putting those letters on my work surface? And I'm not really worried about whether they're straight on my work surface, but I am making sure they are straight when I pick up my stamping block with them. Way easier to do that than trying to place them with your fingers. All right, let's look. Usually when there is a little hair right in there. Still there? Can't tell. Oh, it's underneath it. It's underneath the stamp. That's okay. All right, let's do our little testing here. Where did our paper go? Where did our scratch paper go? Oh, yeah, here. So if you are traveling with your stamps, good idea to just take some scratch paper with you so you can kind of test things. All right, that looks pretty good. So we'll now come back in here and we will do, I think we should do O and P down below. Remember, necessity is the mother of invention. Just like with the National Park stamp, with this one, when we went to Europe and I couldn't find these stickers, I'm like, well, I like using these stickers. Well, I guess we'll have to make our own. And we did. O and P. Thank you, Amy. Amy sent the link in the chat for the 4-letter National Park codes. Hello, Carla. Nice to see you. Bucket listed trip to Alaska for your 40th anniversary. Congratulations. That is very impressive. That is incredibly impressive. You don't see a lot of that these days, huh? Do I take a portable printer? I do not. I don't do that anymore, CT Grammy. I don't, because what I found is if I do that, if I take a portable printer, then it takes me way more than 20 minutes or 15 minutes to write out my day. And then I'm concerned about, well, shoot, I have way more pictures than I have room. And then where do I put them? How do I pick? Sometimes when you're traveling, if your little portable printer, it's Wi-Fi and you don't have the Wi-Fi, or sometimes Wi-Fi at a hotel is really hard to hook up to those little portable printers sometimes. So I probably have 4 different little portable printers, but I don't take them with me anymore for those reasons. But a lot of people do. So it's just kind of, whatever works for you. I found when I was taking the printer with me, I was spending more time on a spread. And then if I'm spending more time on a spread and I'm tired, then I'm like, you know what? If it's going to take me 2 hours to do that, I don't want to do it and I'm not going to do it. And then I wouldn't do any documenting. What do I do on my trip is only 3 or 4 days. And I will either glue the rest of the pages together Or I will use the rest of the pages to start documenting the trip. Maybe a 3 or 4 day trip only has, you know, so many photos with it. So like New York, right? Our New York trip was only 4 days. So I've done all of this part, but I still have, oh, you know what? I glued those 2 pages together. I glued those 2 pages together and it took me right into the trip roundup. So I could do that. Let's see, we did here. One, 2, 3, 4, and then apparently I glued, maybe I took some pages out or I glued more pages together. So glue them together. You could take them out. You could deconstruct. Oh, look, I can see. I took some of the pages out on the inside from the center, or use those pages as pages to just document, right? So let me see. That is a full. That was way longer. That one. Oh, there we go. So there, our trip ended. I could glue them together or just start adding more stuff about the trip, maybe doing junk journaling there. You know, you've got some different options. Carla said, your travel journals made documenting our trip so easy, at least the first round of notes. And you know what? It never occurred to me to make this insert until I got back from that trip, where I hand drew everything. And you guys are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. You're like, I like the idea of doing that, but I'm not doing that. Can't you just make us an insert? And I'm like, okay. There we go. Now I made my own fancy little park sticker or state sticker, or you see those all over these days. Okay. And there we go. Now, maybe you're spending a couple days in a national park, or maybe you're spending a couple days in a city. Usually, if I'm spending, like on this trip, we're going to be in Lincoln Beach for 2 or 3 days. And so I just have 2 or 3 days of Lincoln Beach. Jillian said, you can link your photo printer directly to your phone so you don't need Wi-Fi. You know what? I was able to do that with my Epson my Epson PM400. I haven't ever tried to do that with like little smaller ones, but yeah, you should be able to do that, right? For sure. All right, friends. So, I mean, I've started, right? I still need to basically go in. I need to come in and do something, couple things on every page, because that makes it. So for me, it's decorative and it's not just a whole bunch of writing. And then when we're together again on the 9th, that's when I'll sit down and actually fill out one of the days. I'll actually have, on the 9th, I will have had, I don't know, 4 days, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'll have 4 days already done so you can see how I filled them out for those 4 days. And then I will do the 9th. So the other thing I will do, I just penciled in the date. I either put like day 1, day 2, day 3 there, or I'll just put a number there. There is another stamp set that I will incorporate. I have it out here somewhere, I thought. And it is called Document Your Travels. Oh, here it is. This guy is, this was the kind of the first stamp set that we came out with after I came out with the, no, actually it was before I came out with the lined insert or the themed insert. So this one has, let me just do this so you can see. This one has a bunch of handwritten words in my handwriting. So if you want to weather, hotel, miles, steps, whether you sailed, drove, biked, flown. So if you're tracking steps, your distance, so it could be steps, it could be miles you sailed, it could be flown miles, biked miles, driven miles. And then you have day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have your top ranking, you have a bunch of little tiny icons, you have some larger words, solid circle that you could then do one color and stamp something on top of it. So I will probably be using some of these stamps in my decorating here as well. The person that asked if there was another stamp, this is the one. This is the other stamp that I should have mentioned. I just was off to the side and I didn't think about it. This would be a great one because it's generic for any kind of trip, right? So it's just getting a little bit of color in there with some of your solids that go behind the shapes, some words, some numbers, and things like that. So that would be a good one. Let's see. Quilting Queen, hello, said hi, Leo. Late commenting, but have been watching. Love this series idea. Hello from Australia. Thank you, thank you. All right, my friends. I am going to. ONP stands for. Oh, I just got scared for a minute. I thought I put it there. ONP stands for Olympic National Park. There are apparently 2 ways that you can abbreviate. One is a 3-letter and one is a 4-letter. So that's what that's for, Olympic National Park. All right, friends. So I'm going to call it a night. I am going to rotate my camera. We will say our goodbyes. In between now and when I see you again, I will have, sorry about shaking all of that. I will have done all the prep for all of my days. And all the prep isn't a lot, right? I added stickers to the national parks. The days will be in the national parks. Did some stamping on a couple of pages. I will probably pull out some of my generic travel words that I have cut from different magazines and brochures, just to get some fun things like that in there, kind of like I did on the Shenandoah one. Like that. I'll just have a few words because when we're together again on the 16th, that's when I'll really incorporate kind of I'll do a whole junk journal spread of one of our days. But anyhow, there you guys go. So now you know my secrets. No, there are no secrets. No secrets. That was just, it's something that worked for me. And like I said at the beginning, I stumbled upon it because on a particular trip to Europe for 18 days, Nick and I took a backpack and a carry-on, and that was it. So I was very limited in what I could take, and it was a game changer for me because I was forced to only take minimal things. I did a lot of prep work. I only took minimal things, and then every night on that trip, because we were doing so many things, I wrote things down, and that like changed travel documenting for me. There is an e-course on my website that's called Documenting Your Travels, and it's an e-course. So there are, I don't know, I think maybe 10 or 12 different video segments. There's maybe like 5 hours of content, or I do a deep dive into a lot of things. There is a chapter, because when I did it initially, there's a chapter about how to make your own version of this, because at the time that's what we had. Then when I came out with these, there's kind of another little sub-chapter where I'm like, oh, forget that. Now you can use one of these. But it takes it a step further beyond what we are doing here in terms of documenting. It takes it into taking photos on the trip and how to organize your photos, some tips for taking photos of signs so you know what the next photo is up, a lot of things like that. And then, putting it all together when you're done. So, you're documenting all of this while you're traveling, but then eventually you might want to, document a little bit further, where I did a mini book, where I did a postcard mini book, like I talked about, where I just took a bunch of postcards that I bought on the trip and documented that way. Just so lots of different ideas that go beyond kind of this first part of the process. Whew. All right, you guys. So we covered a lot tonight. If you have any questions, now that the chat will be over, you can either leave a question or a comment on the video when it's over and I'll be notified, or you can go to layobymail.com and click on contact us, especially if there is something that you would like me to cover in series number 2, I just looked over there, number 2, where I'm documenting the end of the day, or number 3, where I'm doing my junk journaling. And hopefully, if you'd like me to cover something specific, then you let me know before I leave, because if there's something I need to bring with me to illustrate whatever it is, then it would, well, if it's after I've already left, it's like, oh well, I can't do it, but I can answer questions anyhow. All right, you guys, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And here's a little thing. We will not be together listing again. If you normally see me on a Saturday when we're doing our creative listing, we are not together listing again until 6 and 7, the 23rd. No, not the 23rd. 16, 17, 18, 18, 25th. 25th of July. The last weekend in July is when we'll be together listing again, because this week, instead of listing, we covered what we did tonight, the prep with me before I go. Next week we'll be doing that. I'm documenting at the end of the day on the 9th. And then I have a little sticky note cheat sheet over there. And then the following week we'll be together on the 16th while I do a live junk journal. So if you want to list with me, just stay tuned. All the things, stay tuned. Just make sure you get my emails, because if you get my emails, then you're always in the know and you know everything that's going on. Thank you for, what is the code? Groovy Girl Cards. What is the code? What is the code? Oh, thank you. 5Xmas26. I missed the first part of that. Yes. As part of Christmas in July. There's a lot of Christmas, all my Christmas and holiday products from last year that I had on the website is marked down 40-60% off, more than 60, to make room for all the new stuff coming in, including our new Christmas collection. But also every year I do a little coupon code for you guys, and it is $5 off of your purchase of 25 or more. So that code is 5XMAS for Xmas 26 for the year 2026. All right, I'm going to let you have the rest of your evening, and I'm going to go have some dinner and probably a glass of wine. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Bye-bye.